Did you know that your IRA and 401k are being used to actually promote agendas that maybe you might not be in agreement with? These big investment companies, and I won't mention names, buy big blocks of stocks. They control those stocks. They vote for you, and they cause companies to fall in line with agendas that they support. That's something we need to wake up and be aware of. Let's take a look at that today in DeFi IoT. Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you stop to think about, and it makes so much sense. You know, in the top 3 to 4 investment firms that hold your 401ks and your IRAs. My son and I were talking about an IRA, about a month ago. He's home from college, and he was saying, yeah, I have my Roth IRA, and he was trying to explain to me the difference, and maybe he didn't understand that I knew the difference already. Obviously, I have my IRAs. I closed the IRAs out 15 years ago. The reason why is because I just didn't have confidence in going for those IRAs. I just felt laws would change and things would change, or they'd be abused in some way. Now, what takes place today, in summary? You give your money to these large investment bankers. Well, I guess if they're housing your, I'm trying to mention names here. I'm trying to beat around the bush here a little bit. These companies take your money and they bring them all together to form these big pools, okay? And so within there, the top 3, there are trillions of dollars. So you take the top 5 or 10, and most of these are all aligned with the World Economic Forum and the 2030 agenda put out by the United Nations, with now the United Nations signed an agreement with the World Economic Forum to move forward their 2030 agenda, where we will own nothing and we'll be happy. That will be subscription based primarily, which we're already starting to see it happen now, as well as other factors will play in where we won't actually be owners in things. We will just pay subscription and we'll get to use things as we need it, or as some centralized government feels that we need it. Now, what happens with your IRA and your 401k? With this whole woke movement taking place right now in the corporate world, these corporations are in bed with a lot of the politicians globally. I've seen this firsthand. And they're told to bring the little guy in line, right? So it's this food chain coming down. So basically it's this: our IRAs and 401ks, or your IRAs and 401ks, because mine's not there anymore. I converted that into land, gold, and silver. Those are being used to buy up stocks in businesses and companies. When the large pool that holds these IRAs, or these investment banks, if you will, hold these IRAs and buy, or the 401ks, and buy these large blocks of stocks, they get voting rights. Now, you are the one that's supposed to have the voting rights, but because you place your shares inside that IRA 401k, your representative, or who represents you, or whoever you placed it with, they get to do the voting. So they go in and buy up these big blocks, and they vote, and they can sway companies, or they can hurt companies because they can sell them all off too. They can threaten companies and don't think it doesn't happen. They can force companies to fall in line with this political agenda that they're supporting. And a lot of this right now is the woke agenda. So, should you continue to hold a 401k or an IRA? Well, that's completely up to you. I'm not giving you financial advice here. But if you care about the future of your children and your children's children, you might want to think about taking that back into your own possession. And I'm not talking about converting that into an IRA that has gold or silver or something else that qualifies for an IRA. I'm talking about physically holding it. You can physically hold it in safe places, and we should do a video on that as well. But I'm talking about physically getting involved with other things that you can actually hold. And you know what? Bitcoin is not a bad idea. Look at it right now. It's up. I don't think it's going to stay up for now. It's going to get attacked again. I think right now it's just big whales is playing the game right now, and investment banks and so forth buying for some reason or another. I don't feel it's actually the retail market, us, out there buying up Bitcoin. So I do believe it's going to correct and come back down again, but then it will slowly go up. It's going to what's called halves in 2 years. In 2 years, I think we're going to see Bitcoin really start to push towards that $100,000 range. And I've mentioned before that these large investment bankers also feel the same way. JP Morgan, for example, on one of the reports that came out late last year. So in summary, that's what your Roth IRA and your 401k or your IRA are doing. They're manipulating the market. They are manipulating all these companies to fall in line. And what happens to the small businesses, that if we don't conform as well, going up that food chain, they're all going to make us fall in line with this whole climate change agenda, the woke agenda, etc., which is completely against the Constitution of the United States of America. It's completely against a free market economy and our free will. We need to stand up, do something about that. I'm not telling you what to do, just do something. Please. Future generations depend on us to do that. DeFi IoT, we'll see you in our next video.